Genesis chapter 11, verse 4, speaking of Babylon. So they say, let us build a city with a tower so that we can make a name for ourselves. When they're saying, let us make a name for ourselves, it's to identify them as a people. By having an identity, they could come together universally and say that we identify as tribesmen, as people. We have now become Mishpokah. In Genesis chapter 17, verse 5, this is Yahweh telling Abraham to come out of his father's house and out from his father's name. That means his father's people. And he changes his name. Why? Because he's going to create a people or a nation. And so he says, no longer shall your name be called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham, because you're going to be the father of many nations, not just one nation. So the word Abrahama is from the word Ab, meaning father, Rab, meaning great, and the Hebrew word Hama, meaning many. Now the word for nations there is a foreigner, or those who are uncircumcised. So we see already prophecy being sown into Abraham that he would become the nation, which eventually his seed would become the nation of Israel, and that the uncircumcised or the foreign nations would come into, and that he would be known as the patriarch or the father of this mixed multitude. Paul, he knows this. He says, for the promise to Abraham that he would be the heir of the world. So we see that this is a contest from the beginning, seed against seed, to be the heir, to inherit the world. So Satan has usurped his position and has already tried to take dominion over the world through vain philosophies and brute force or violence. That's why the meek, which is slow to anger, inherit the earth. This power or this right, it was not given through the law, that comes later, but through the obedience of Abraham that came by his faith. That's important because that's how the Gentiles are going to come in. Now, although the law was given to Israel to govern them, because they were going to be kings and priests, they were going to become the administration. They were going to become the assembly by which all the other nations would then come in by faith and be governed by the assembly of Israel. And that's how it ends in the book of Revelation. 144,000, the assembly. And all the nations will come in and it will be accounted to them righteousness. They didn't hear the law and get saved. They heard the truth and got saved. And then they entered into the commonwealth by faith. And then it's supposed to be Judah, it's supposed to be Israel, that then becomes a hegemony or a hedge over them against the tyranny of this world. That's what Paul was doing, the apostolic faith, to cover over them and to teach the nations, to give them right rulings.